Hey there, folks. I was recently tagged by my friend TeenyDragon to do the Brosive 15 tag, which is basically just like 15 question and answer type things. Um,
So I guess I'm going to answer those questions for you. I
that was weird.
I guess I'm going to. Why am I a chipmunk?
Huh.
Okay. I guess I'm going to do the Broseph challenge for you as a chipmunk. Cool. And apparently with the ears. Let's do this. Question 1. That's a pretty easy one. I was born in 1989. Yeah. Next question. I don't really curse. Like, I have in the past, and like I'll write it out if it, is important. But yeah, it's not really like, my thing to curse. I think it sounds weird coming from my mouth. I don't know. But as a kid I did a little bit, I guess. I don't know. It's probably just some kind of like, like, hey, let me hear your curse, like my girlfriend likes to do sometimes. So I don't know. I actually don't have an answer for that. I'm sorry. Um, yeah, probably nothing glamorous. I'll say that. Question 3. My favorite TV show growing up is actually still one of my favorite TV shows, and that is Boy Meets World. I did literally grow up with that show, because when I started watching it, I was probably like 10 or so, 10 or 11, and when the show ended, I was like 16. And yeah, they were all in college, so, it was a little different, but yeah, I was probably like 15 or 16 when the show ended, and a lot of what I saw, like, as it matured, was as I was maturing. So that's kind of cool to say, that a show, like, grew up with you, almost. I did watch a lot of cartoons, like, Rugrats, Cat Dog, the Lion King cartoon, that was solid. Um, let's see. Angry Beavers, I actually can't think of a lot of them anymore. But I will say that the cartoons that, like my generation grew up with are way better than what they have today. I know a lot of people have been saying that, but it's totally true. Things like Adventure Time and, like, I can't even think of any others because I don't watch them. But they're all weird and random and just, like, I feel like they're just breeding that ADD culture. I don't know, just personal opinion. But I loved the TV shows that I grew up with. But I have to go with Boy Meets World as the main one because it's close to my heart, man. Question 4. Well, the main thing I would say is to figure stuff out earlier. I spent a lot of time as a kid, like, being very introverted, and so I didn't do much until later in life. I did a lot of writing, which was helpful. It kind of got me into the creative field of, figuring that kind of stuff out. But I started theater stuff, like, when I was a sophomore in high school, and didn't really do a lot until senior year of high school, when I started to do more video work and took a video production class, which was awesome, and really got me on this path of, like, wanting to do video stuff, like, as a career, ideally. But I would have liked to do a lot of that earlier. Like, I used this little, like, Windows Movie Maker program when I was little, like 13, 14 or so, just, messing with stuff. But I didn't really get serious about it until senior year of high school, and then I went off to college as a theater major, and so I still didn't do a lot of that stuff as far as, like, movie stuff goes. I did some more when I was working for the campus news station, doing, like, news packets and things like that. I was a reporter, and created some fun things, like a campus talk show with one of my friends, and that was awesome. But I don't have any of that stuff because it was owned by the school, so it wasn't the best experience for me, and I didn't start it until way too late. And so that's why I'm just now getting into this YouTube thing, because, I didn't really figure out what I wanted to do until it was already kind of too late to do it properly. And so now I'm kind of aimless at this point in my life, and I feel like it's too late to know, where I want to go, because I spent too long as a kid trying to figure out what I wanted to do, if that makes sense. So the main thing I'd say is to, like, play with things more, at a younger age, and get this all sorted out, like, way earlier in life. Yeah, pretty much that's it. Question 5. I just like to be comfortable. Like, right now, I don't even have, like, proper shorts on. I'm just wearing, like, pajama shorts and a t-shirt, because I don't have to go anywhere today, so why not? If I am going out, it's usually still, like, same kind of t-shirt, just, proper shorts. In cooler weather, I dress a little nicer. I've got a lot of, like long sleeve button-ups that I'll wear over another shirt, or, like sweaters, things like that, kind of classier. I really like the jeans and sweater look. But during summertime, I just want to be cool. I want to be comfortable. So I don't really care that much about clothes. I'll buy new stuff if I have to, like if stuff doesn't fit anymore. But other than that, I wear stuff until they're too gross to wear out in public anymore, and then they become, bedclothes. Question 6. Probably Legos. Like, I had this stuffed cat, which I think I still have at my mom's house. It got really ratty. It was like this just orange stuffed cat. But probably like my overall favorite toys were Legos. It was kind of a bonding thing with me and my brother. We'd still use Legos. I think like 2 Thanksgivings ago or something, we were home for the holidays, and my mom went out and bought Legos for us because we wanted to create some more stuff. I think I was like building a Zelda dungeon, basically, like my own, custom-made Zelda dungeon, and I needed some more blocks. Definitely Legos. I love them. I used to love them more, but I still play with them when I get a chance. And we've kind of passed that on to the next generation too. So, yay for putting our childhood Legos to use. Question... I didn't number these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Question number 7. The main one that comes to mind is one that my mom always shares the story for. It was like probably second... No, it was later than that, like 4th or 5th grade, I think. I don't know. Sometime in elementary school, my mom got called to the school because I was in the nurse's office with one of those Elmer glue caps stuck to my finger. I guess I had like pulled it off the glue bottle and like just kind of stuck it on like a bugle. I don't know if you guys like put the bugles on your fingers and like, I have witch hands. But I did that with a glue cap, and so they had to call her for permission to cut it off. Just a goofy little thing, but she always retells that story, so I guess that's my most embarrassing moment. I don't know. I did a lot of embarrassing things as a kid. Question number 8. Ratings were never a big deal in my family. I grew up on like Disney movies and stuff like that. I was a kid, but I also saw like the American Pie movies when I was probably 12 or 13. And I remember, I don't think it was my first one, but I remember my mom took us to see that 40 Days and 40 Nights movie with Josh Hartnett whenever it was in theaters. So I don't know what year that was. I'll probably put it up here somewhere. But yeah, so I've been seeing those movies forever. It doesn't matter. But my dad weekends were always just like getting like whatever, random, usually horror movies from like Gerbs, like when they did movie rentals, and watching those all weekend. And so a lot of those were probably inappropriate for me too. So it's probably some random like B movie like horror thing that wasn't even good. But I'll say my first, for the sake of the question, I'll say that my first R-rated movie was the first American Pie, because that's the one I remember the most as a kid. And then we saw like the second or third one, I think, with my mom and my aunt in theaters, and that was pretty awkward. Question number 9. That's a hard one. I listened to a lot of different music over the years, and one of my favorite bands growing up was 3 Doors Down. I used to like obsess over their music. And so probably my favorite song growing up would be 3 Doors Down, Kryptonite. If I were crazy, then you'd be my kryptonite, or I don't know, something like that. I'd play a clip of it, but I'd probably get this video flagged, and I don't really feel like doing that. So, yeah, but like I said, I loved a lot of different kinds of music, and I kind of went through phases growing up, like everyone does, I think. So I listened to a lot of country, because my mom, in high school, I had kind of like a punk rock phase, so I listened to a lot of, like, Good Charlotte, and 3 Days Grace, and I can't think of any others that are still relevant. I liked Eminem a lot, too, growing up. Like, Lose Yourself, Skeletons in the Closet, Haley's song, or whatever it's called. Like, a lot of really good Eminem songs. I still remember the words to a lot of them. When I hear them on the radio, like, retro, I'm like, oh yeah, like, doing my white boy rap in the car all by myself. Super embarrassing. Maybe that should have been my most embarrassing moment, singing Eminem in the car by myself. Also, Vanessa Carlton, crap, what is that song? Something Miles. My side story. There was an old PC game called Star Trek Elite Force. It was like a first-person shooter. It was actually really cool for its time. And it was probably one of the first games that had like some super competitive, like awesome online multiplayer. And so my brother and I used to play that all the time. And it was really mod-heavy with like custom maps and things like that. And so my brother tried to create like our house at the time inside of this Elite Force game. And so like I remember, watching him create these mods, like these mod maps, and playing them myself, and listening to that whatever Vanessa Carlton song that is, and then like 3 Doors Down, like just kind of my cycle of songs, like the 20 songs that I downloaded from Napster, LimeWire, or whatever was popular at that time. So I would listen to those songs and repeat while I was playing Elite Force. And so those are the ones I always remember, but I don't remember the titles necessarily because I would just listen to them while I was playing. So just random memory that popped into my head because of this question. That's kind of fun. Question 10, I think. My favorite console is probably the Super Nintendo. I grew up with the NES and SNES like simultaneously because the NES obviously came out before I was born. Random hair just floated across the screen. The NES came out before I was born, but I would always go over to my aunt's house when I was little, and she had the NES and the SNES like next to each other, and so I would play a lot of like original Zelda, which I mentioned, original Metroid, Mega Man 3, Castlevania 2, I think it was, a bunch of other random classics, and then the SNES was kind of like, the SNES was out as I was a kid, so new games were still coming out for it, but she didn't really get new games because, you know, it was pretty much just for her son at the time, and then he went away, so she kept the system for us for a while. But I played a lot of Mega Man X, Link to the Past, Super Metroid, Hook, like the old Hook game, which was really hard, but I kept playing just to try and get through the first level. But probably my favorite game, like, of all time is Super Metroid. It's hard to choose between, like, Super Metroid and Mario RPG, as far as SNES games, since I'm sticking to that console right now. But I consider Super Metroid, like, probably the most perfectly made game of all time, which is why I'm going to play it next. Shameless plug. But yeah, it's definitely up there as far as, like, best made games of all time. And I would play that game, like, religiously. Like, I would go over there for the weekend and play through the entire game, and the next time I would come over, like, 2 weeks later, I would start a new file and play through the whole game again. So that was really fun. And at one time, I could, like, beat the game in, like, an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. Unfortunately, I can't do that anymore. I don't play it nearly as often. But the point is, that game sticks with me the most, probably, of, like, any game I've ever played. So yeah, SNES and Super Metroid. Question 11, I like them both for different reasons. I'd say my favorite is probably Shine, because Rain kind of gives me a headache and just, like, generally makes me, like, kind of down. But it is nice, like, on a cozy, stormy night, just, like, relax with some wine and a movie, and just, you know, chill with the lady and the cats. So, I mean, there's kind of a novelty in a nice rainy night, but in general, I prefer Shine, because you always want to be able to go out and just kind of enjoy your day, and Rain will bring that down, but there's moments when a rainy night is good. Friggin' hat. Question 11? Well, obviously, I mean, this is a YouTuber challenge, so I feel like the obvious one is video games. It's always been, like, my top favorite hobby, and the other one is related to that because it's video production. If I wasn't, like, playing video games for the internet, I would still find ways to make videos. I've done it, like I said, since I was 13 or 14. In my senior year of high school, me and a bunch of my friends created this little, like, improv group, and we did goofy little skits and things like that. Some of them actually still exist between Facebook and my old, like, personal YouTube channel, so I might bring some of them out at some point, but they're pretty terrible. But the point is, I made those with Windows Movie Maker, and just kind of played around with that kind of stuff. Threw together a few, like, old compilations of just, like, my friends hanging out together, things like that. I made a little short movie my freshman year of high school, or, freshman year of college, and then a longer, like, technically feature-length, hour-long film with my friends, like, sophomore or junior year of college, that I actually did auditions for, and, like, you know, a proper production on using the college's filming equipment, which is pretty cool. I don't think I still have access to that anywhere, but if I did, I probably wouldn't upload it, because it's not great. But, yeah, so I love video production in general. That's why I want to do more things with this channel than just, like, put up Let's Plays. I like doing the skits and the, you know, the travel vlogs and things like that, because I can use that stuff for a resume someday. I really want to do this as a career. Like, I'm not one of those people that's like, I want to get famous on YouTube. Like, that'd be cool too, you know, if I could make money just doing this directly, but I just want to get into the video production field. Like, whatever that entails. So, right now it's a hobby, video games and video production. But ideally, I'd love to turn that into a career. You know, one, the other, or both. Question 12. Brood, usually. I don't really handle emotions well, as I've said before. And so when I'm, like, upset or angry or sad or whatever, I usually just get really quiet and to myself. When I was a kid, I would just sit in my room and play games until I felt better. And then I would come out and be, you know, public again. So that's kind of filtered into my adult life. I tend to kind of shut down whenever I'm not feeling well. And I'll just, like, watch a movie or play games or literally just sit there and brood. And then whenever I've kind of collected my thoughts a bit, then I'll come out and be like, hey, you know, this is what I was going through. Let me share that with you. So most people know that if I'm in a bad mood, just to kind of stay away. But it's not healthy, I'll admit it. But it's just the way I handle things. You know, we're not perfect. It's what I do. Moving on. Question 14. Yes. To elaborate more, because I'm making all of these rants, so why not? I believe that they must exist because it's the easier answer, honestly. To say no to the existence of ghosts and aliens is a very closed-minded approach, because we don't know. To say that they probably exist is broadening you to the options that they do. Sure, I've never seen a ghost or an alien. I've never had, you know, an experience with either one, but why should that mean they don't exist? That just means that I personally have not had that experience. But there's a whole world out there of other people that have experienced all different things than I have. So for me to say that something else doesn't exist just because I haven't experienced it is closing it off to my points of view. And I don't like that when anyone does it, and with any topic. So I'm definitely not going to do it with something that's very likely to exist. Because let's be honest, there's a whole universe out there. If there's not, if we haven't seen aliens, that probably just means that we're not worthy of their visit. Actually, there was a documentary that I watched like a year ago that was basically a narrative about why, like, what would happen if the aliens visited here. And it was really cool because it didn't take any sci-fi or anything. It was just basically talking to professionals in the field about, how they would handle the situation. And so it was very documentary style, but it was like, it was presented as if the aliens were talking. Like, it was very first person, like, the aliens were on the other side of the camera type thing. And so it went through the stages of, like, what we would do to prepare for their arrival, what we would do, like, to convince them that we should be approached, and then what we would do once they got here, and what would happen when they left. And I thought that was the most interesting part, because it's basically saying that, they leave without saying anything, because the whole idea is, like, it's a one-way conversation. Like, they don't know how to communicate with us, so they end up leaving without saying anything, and the human race is left to believe that we're just, like, we bored them, or we're not worthy of, them sticking around, and it leaves the entire world in, like, a state of depression. Because it's like, we thought that we were the only ones here, and we were super excited to have these other beings, and then off they go. And so, what do you do in that situation? And I thought that was a really cool take, and I'll try and find a link to that documentary and, like, put it up here somewhere. It won't be the movie, but it'll be, like, a link to its page, so you can read some more about it and see if it's available somewhere now. Because, like I said, I saw it a year ago, so I'm sure it's out there somewhere. But it's a really cool documentary, and a really interesting take on, whether or not aliens exist. And so whether or not you believe in it, it's worth a look. Question 15. The final question. Likes is the community. Like, just flat out, that is the like. There's a lot of other things I like, but the one I'm going to talk about, like, wholeheartedly is the community. Because you guys are all amazing. Like, I started this in March, I think, just assuming that, I'd make videos because, like I said, I wanted to build my resume. I wanted an excuse to make videos about stuff. And I didn't figure out what to watch. Like, when I got to the 50 subscriber mark and did Outlast for it, like, I don't play scary games. I did that because I assumed that it was this huge milestone, like, I reached 50 subscribers. Like, that's unheard of. So I do a big thing for it. And then, like, 2 weeks later, I reached 100. I was like, holy crap, like, that was only the beginning. I blew my load too early, as they say, in inappropriate context. Sorry about that. And so, like, now I'm past 150 and growing, and, like, I don't know where all this came from, because why would people want to watch me? You know what I mean? But, like, that community, you guys watching this right now, and all the rest of you, the over 1,000 followers I have on Twitter, which, granted, probably half of them are bots, but that's, like, 500 amazing people that interact with me daily, like, without me even prompting it. That's amazing, and, like, I never thought I'd be here. I mean, 6 months? Yeah, 6 months later, like, the growth I've had and the friends I've made that are, like, lifelong connections. You guys aren't getting rid of me. It's incredible, and I could not be happier with the connections I've made, the friends I've made, the progress I've made as a person, like, the way I've been able to open up and socialize more. I talk to strangers now occasionally. I never talk to strangers. But, like, it warms my heart. It makes me want to be a better person. And that's why I'm here. So, yeah, 100% thumbs up to the community. Dislikes, kind of also the community. You know what I mean? There's negatives to everything. And there's a lot of people out there that are just in it for themselves. I get follows that I don't follow back because I look at their profiles and see that they're just, in it for themselves. All they do is post, I put up a new video. Like, and every time they follow someone, they send out a message, even though you're not following them back, saying, hey, thanks for, being my friend. Check out my channel. Assuming that, I, like, immediately follow them back and, like, want to be their friend. And, yeah, that probably sounds a little bad to say, but again, I'm in this for the community. If you're just in it for yourself, I don't care about you. To be fair. I mean, people that talk to me daily aren't just numbers. And so, like, if you just send out a message saying, oh, check out my channel, or, like, the people that literally just send a link, like, no text, just a link, I'll respond with, did you seriously just, like, unsolicit me your YouTube page? Please go away. Like, I don't deal with that well. And part of it's just my, my sensibilities of, like, not wanting to contribute to that. And it might be a little selfish on my part, because there's some people that later I've had conversations with and find out they're actually pretty cool people. And I just didn't handle that initial contact well. But, first impressions, man. Like, you gotta get it right from the start, or else you're gonna blow your chance. So, I mean, yeah, I give people second chances if they, if they fix it, but there's a lot of selfish people out there, and it's made me kind of jaded towards some of the community. So, I mean, I'm gonna be a little guarded, like, starting off. Because I feel like, to an extent, we all need to prove ourselves to each other. I mean, as you grow, you're going to inevitably let fewer people in. It just happens. Granted, I keep letting in amazing people and growing the community the right way, but that doesn't always happen. So, yeah, the community is a like and a dislike. So, yeah, that's all the long-winded questions I have.
Ooh. I think I can use my normal voice again, right? And, let's see. And no more Zelda stuff either, probably. Because the challenge is over, okay, Teeny? You have no control over me anymore. Anyway, so next I guess I'm supposed to tag people, but I'm kind of over that. So, again, open challenge. Anyone that wants to do this can. I know it's a lot of questions, but it's actually really fun. And it's a longer video, but I think it's a rewarding one. It's more that question and answer, bring out the stories, rather than just, like, give facts about yourself. So, anyone that wants to handle this can, if you've made it this far. If you haven't, you're not going to hear this anyway, so I don't know why I'm talking about it. But, anyway, this has been the Brosif15 hashtag challenge that I was challenged to by TeenyDragon, and I am giving an open challenge to anyone that wants to do it. So, that's all I got, and until next time, have fun.